Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to do a makeup starter kit focusing more on affordable products. So this starter kit will help everyone in general that are on a very tight budget and don't want to splurge on makeup, but then they still want to look good and presentable. So for primer, I could highly suggest the e.l.f. Moisture Lock primer. This primer can double as your moisturizer, so if you're on the go, if you have really dry skin, this is great for you. If you do have oily skin, you could still use this primer because it has a little bit of a tackiness to it, so it will hold on to the foundation that you are wearing, but just be mindful on where you apply this. I personally love to apply this primer around the perimeters of my face, avoiding the T-zone area because that's where I get the oiliest the most. Another primer that I could recommend is the Covergirl Base Business Primer. Now they have three different kinds. The one that I like is in the white with purple color in it. So I will put it on the screen somewhere, but that one is great if you have oily skin. It blurs out your skin, it mattifies your skin. There's so many good eyebrow products on the drugstore right now. I picked up this e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. Now this is a newer product from e.l.f. I do know that I used to use the brow product in a white packaging and that's a lot cheaper, but I do find that the nib is a little bit bigger than what I would want for my brows. So this one is a lot skinnier and it comes with a spoolie as well. I believe this product right here retails for $13 and you could easily find e.l.f. products from Kmart if you live in New Zealand and Australia. I am typically not a fan of like a super defined brows these days, especially if you're a student. There's a lot of restrictions when it comes to makeup if you're in college or high school here in New Zealand. I remember the school that I went to were not even allowed to wear mascara. So majority of the people in my class usually just wear foundation and nothing else. But these days they're a little bit more lenient, but then they have like restrictions, especially when it comes to eyeshadows, blush, and lipstick. And to set the brows, I have to pair it with the e.l.f. Brow Wow because the two combo is just amazing. And also the shade of the brow pencil that I have is a little bit warm, so this one will tone it down a little bit. I like to brush my hairs up, especially in the front, all the way to the back. It will give you a lot of volume, and also the brow product will coat all the sparse hairs that you have underneath your actual brow. For foundation, I've picked the one that I feel like will work on majority of skin types. I have the Maybelline Matte and Poreless, and this one is in the shade 332. The reason why I picked this one is because this can work for both dry skin and oily skin. It has more of a natural finish, which is amazing, especially if you have drier skin. It gives you a lot of coverage, and also the color range of this foundation is phenomenal. They've recently extended it here in New Zealand and Australia, which is even better, and it can cater to a lot of skin colors. So I do really love this one. The foundation that I have has got a pump because I use my old MAC pump, which fits perfectly on this bottle. But usually when you purchase this foundation, it doesn't come with a pump. It just comes with a screw top lid. This shade is a little bit darker than my skin tone because this is more of my summer shade, but I really don't want to purchase another foundation to match me because concealer can fix anything. I want more of a lighter coverage. I will blend it with a sponge. Let me know if you want to see affordable makeup tools that won't break your bank, because I could definitely do like a part 2 of this video focusing more on the tools that you need to create a gorgeous makeup look. I don't want to add more coverage because I want to focus more on the skin rather than creating a more glamorous makeup look. So for concealer, I have a few options. Now this is where the fun begins. First, I have the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, which is a tried and true concealer for majority of the people. May you be a professional on a budget or just a person starting out with makeup, this is such a great concealer. It blends beautifully underneath the eyes. The only problem is that it's a little bit of a thinner consistency, so you have to constantly build up, but the finish that it gives is so beautiful. Another one I have is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. Again, you can find e.l.f. products from Kmart, and this retails for under $20 as well. This is such a great full coverage concealer if you're into that. If you have really dark circles, this is a perfect concealer. The only thing is that you have to really prep your under eye for this specific concealer to work, because it can get too cakey and too heavy looking on the skin. And also, when you pick your shade, make sure to pick a shade that is 2 shades lighter at least, or a shade lighter, because this can tend to oxidize. My third favorite concealer is the Australis Fresh and Flawless Concealer. I'm about to purchase my second tube because this is completely out. I love this concealer. It's very affordable. It's under $20. I find that Australis Cosmetics has got more of the underrated products that not a lot of people know about. This one in particular is one of them. Honestly, you could layer this concealer on top of any powder whenever you try to fix something, and it does not look cakey. It gives you the fullest coverage ever, and it lasts throughout the day. This is the only concealer that gives me a very smooth under eye for at least 10 hours. So I'm going to use this one, and I am in the shade Natural. So the shade is a little bit light, which is going to be perfect because our foundation is a little bit dark. If you have a darker foundation, just grab a light concealer and it can fix anything. And then go in with a sponge, and I first blend the forehead and then the chin area. I kind of leave the under eye to cook a little bit more because I want a little bit more of a fuller coverage on the area right there, since I have not been getting a lot of sleep. If you're not into like extreme highlighting, then you could purchase this concealer but on the shade that is so close to your skin tone. Look at that. It instantly concealed and brightened my dark circles, and it gives me a more hydrated under eye. But because my foundation is a little bit too dark, I'm just gonna add a little bit on this area and blend it out. Or if you have drier skin, I don't even see the point of you setting this, because this foundation right here is great on its own without setting. It just sets in beautifully with the skin, but because I do have oily skin, I really have to set my face, especially around the under eye area. So the powder that I'm going to share with you is this Rimmel Stay Matte powder, and I have the shade Translucent or Transparent, and oh my goodness, I've gone through so many pans of this powder. It's such a great affordable powder. If you want a loose translucent powder, Wet n Wild carries one, but because Wet n Wild is such a popular brand at the moment, it's always out of stock. This Rimmel powder has been a holy grail of mine and a lot of people, because it just sets your makeup beautifully. If you have oily skin, it mattifies your skin. It doesn't leave any white cast at all, and it's just a great overall powder. It even helps blur your pores. I used to have the Wet n Wild contour and highlight powder, but because I have not had that for a long time, I will just mention the ones that I have. A great trio or palette to have if you're on a budget is this one right here, and this is the Covergirl True Blend Serving Sculpt palette. It comes with 3 different shades. You have your bronzer, your blush, and your highlight, and this retails, I believe, for under $30. It's a little bit pricey, but if you think about it, you have 3 in 1, and this one smells like chocolate. The other bronzer that I have is this Maybelline City Bronzer. I love this product so much that the packaging broke because I've used this and abused this product. So I'm going to start off with the Covergirl bronzer right here. The reason why I don't really use the bronzer in here is because it doesn't really show up on my skin tone specifically, especially during summertime, because it's a little bit light. But I do love the blush and the highlight in here. It's a little bit on the pink tone side. It's still wearable. And then I am going to top off the bronzer with the Maybelline. This is a little bit more pigmented and it has more of a golden undertone, which is great, especially if you want the sun-kissed look. And this one is a lot cheaper. This is only $17 depending on where you buy it from, but usually the place that I go to is just Farmers because everything is there. Sometimes I would buy Maybelline products from warehouse, but the only downside is that you can't really test them, whereas at Farmers you could test the product before purchasing it, so you're guaranteed of leaving the place with the right shade. I am going to use this blush right here from the palette. This blush is perfect for everyone. If you're fair, just be light-handed. If you have a darker skin tone like I do, then go ham. So if you're a high school student, you could probably stop in here in this type of makeup look. Just add a lip balm and a little bit of mascara and you're good to go. But I do want to go further and show you what you can do with just drugstore products. So the one that I'm going to use today is from Wet n Wild, and this is the powder highlight, specifically the shade Precious Petal. I feel like this will work on a lot of skin tones. I love this highlighter. I believe this is my second one because the first one that I purchased broke, so I have to purchase another one, and ever since I've never looked back. This is probably one of the most used highlight that I own. And this is a great everyday makeup look. Personally for me, when I go to work, this is basically what the makeup I'm wearing. I don't typically bother with the eyes because majority of the times I don't have time. I just want my skin to look presentable and everything else will just follow. I don't even use any lipstick at all. I just stick to lip balm. So yeah, if you like this makeup look, you could probably stop right here. You could also use your bronzer as an eyeshadow. If you're really intimidated with eyeshadow palettes, you could do that, and then you could also use the highlighter on the inner corner of the eyes and consider it done. Walk out the door looking fabulous. But personally for me, I do want to share an eyeshadow palette that you could get your money's worth, and it's so cheap. And this is from Revolution, and this is the Reloaded Velvet Rose. I picked this eyeshadow palette specifically because this is just an everyday neutral eyeshadow palette that is not too intimidating and it's not too much for a lot of everyday women or men. And also this is a perfect eyeshadow palette for students. You could use the shades as an eyebrow powder, an eyeliner, and blush and highlighter, and you're good to go. But for today's look, I wanted to focus more on the natural side of the makeup. So this is going to be more on working people out there and also university students that don't want to go to class looking like a hot mess. So I am going to first start out with this shade right here as a transition shade, and I'm just gonna sweep that all over my lids. I'm not gonna be precise because we just want a little bit of something in there. Like, this is not going to be a how to cut crease type of look. This is basically just showing you how you can achieve that undone makeup look. And then I am going to go on this shade right here, which is more on that neutral brown, with the same brush and kind of just focus that on the outer parts of the eye, just to act as the definition. You don't want it to be too much because obviously you're only gonna go to class, or you don't want to rock like a smoky eye when you go to work. Because I do know that a lot of workplaces do have restrictions when it comes to makeup as well. That's just how some corporate worlds work. So I am going to go on the lower lash line as well. So what I do is just I use one brush and I just pinch it. And if I do want to add a little bit of something, since I already have the transition, I would go for a bronzy shade like this, and I'll just use my finger and I will tap that all over my lid. So we have a little bit of something in there. It's not too smoky, it's not too much. It's just a little bit of haze of color. And then I am going to go over that with a lighter shade. So I'm going to pick up this one right here, which is a little bit more on the gold side of the spectrum, and I'm going to focus that on the inner part of the eye. And you don't want to overcomplicate it, because the point of this video is for you to look glamorous when you're going to class or you're going to work without actually rocking like a super extreme makeup, if you know what I mean. And then I would go on with a mascara. You could do a line as well. You could use the black shade from this eyeshadow palette, but personally I don't like that for an everyday. I much prefer just like a light wash of color and then mascara. And this is the Essence Lash Princess mascara. This is such an affordable mascara, and it only retails for $8, and it doesn't flake. It lasts throughout the day. It makes your lashes very long and voluminous, and it adds just the perfect definition. As you can see, it made a huge difference between this eye and this eye right here. One little hack if you're really on a budget is you could use your mascara as your liner as well. Just grab an angle brush and then see how you have that build-up or excess product from the brush. Just dip your angled brush on this brush right here and you create a perfect wing liner. You could also use this to set your brows. So what I typically like to do when my mascara is almost out, I like to use the brush to set my brows, and it gives me the most natural, bushiest looking brows in the world. So lips is basically more of a personal preference, and I have 3 different kinds in here that are most likely within your budget range. So the first one is from Maybelline, and this is the Color Sensational Shine Eclat lipstick. So this is more of their sort of newish formula, and this reminds me of the YSL Rouge Volupte Shine, and I have the shade 060, and this is what it looks like. It gives you a nice sheen and it looks hydrating. The shade is perfect for my skin color because it has that more of a warm nude to it. The next one, if you're into a matte lipstick, is this one right here, and this is from Revolution, and this is the Life on the Dance Floor Guest List Lipstick Stiletto, and this is in the shade Stiletto. So this is more of a matte brown nude. Last but not the least, I have the e.l.f. Cosmetics Lip Plumping Gloss. This is my most used lip product of all the lipsticks that I own. Such an affordable lip gloss, and it's also a perfect match on my lips. It gives me the most juiciest lips. It's plumping, so you feel a little bit of tingle, but it goes away within like 30 seconds, and it lasts throughout the day too. For lip liner, I could not recommend highly enough the Wet n Wild Color Icon. This retails for $3, and look how much you get. This used to be longer. This used to be like this long, but I've used this so much that I'm left with this. But still, you could go for 2 years with just this lip liner and you're good to go. So I'm going to apply this lip liner first. Oh, and I forgot to tell you the shade. I have the shade Willow. This lip liner has got more of a drier consistency, which I like. It reminds me of the MAC lip liner. And I am going to apply a lip gloss, and this is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Plumping Gloss. If you're not into any lip products, you could always use a lip balm. The one that I would recommend is the Bondi Sands SPF 50 lip balm. I love this because you get moisturization and protection all at once. One little hack, you could also use this as a clear highlight. So you can see it's that one right there. So sometimes I would use the lip liner paired with this lip balm and I'm good to go. Last but not the least, I'm going to set all of these because I'm looking a little bit powdery. And here is my final makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you find this helpful. I really just want to come on here and recommend products that I truly love that are very affordable. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more updates and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.